need to start a motion?
We just start.
Motion to resume the meeting.
Motion to resume the meeting?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. I believe that
Okay,
is.
so we are now up to public portion. Shana Walker, 501 Marshall Drive. Let me remind you that you have 5 minutes for your comments.
Could you spell your name for the record,
I gotta spell it?
please?
Yeah, because it's not spelled the way it sounds. SHANAHWALKER.
Thank you.
Okay. I live at 501 Marshall, right? And I've been living there, it's possibly, I'm gonna say 3 years now. But I lived in the project all my life. But that door, them popping that door, I'm sick of it. I live on the second floor, and it's constantly, the back door and the front door. And that lady downstairs, Miss Crandall, she has a daughter that catches seizures. And it's ridiculous. They actually kicking the back door now, like we're gonna come downstairs and open the door. I'm sick of it. And people just, oh, tell me who it is. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. And if I don't know them, how am I gonna tell you who it is? They got cameras. Y'all supposed to know who it is. Asking me who it is, because if I go tell somebody and then I get beat up, then what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? They're gonna come to me and say, oh, Shana said that. Yes, she said we was kicking and banging on the door. And then I'm sick of people with this, oh, you got the key. Can you open the door for me? No. Because if you go do something to somebody in that building and I let you in, no. Then I'm gonna be responsible for what happens to the people in there. No. And the building, I love my building man. He's really good. I don't know his name, he don't speak English. So I talk to him in Spanish, but, because habla español un poquito, no mucho. But he's very good. But it's the people and the building, dirtying up the building. Like you can't put the garbage in the compactor. Why would you sit it outside in front of the compactor? That brings roaches, rats, and everything. And then the people in 540 gave me a list talking about the rats are still under they tubs, scratching, and they can hear it. They tired of it, the water damage, everything. 560, 655, dirty. It's just filthy. That door broke because they broke it. They won't fix it no more, I guess. Y'all tired of fixing it. But it's just open every day because they're constantly pulling the door. Pulling, banging, kicking, all we hear all night long. That's ridiculous. I get up for treatment every 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, to dialysis. 3:45 I get up in the morning. They're banging, kicking the door. There's no way that should be. There's no way. I'm tired of it. And what the camera's doing then? You asking me who's doing it? No. I'm not opening my mouth about nothing. Because y'all got the cameras to work. They're supposed to be working, looking at these people doing this to these doors. And then the people in the park. It's like late at night. Sick of it. Hearing that too. It's just everything. It's just everything. I can't take it no more. This housing authority is falling apart. For real.
That's it, that's all we had signed up tonight. Yes, Gina?
I would like to address this. Mr. Greco, last meeting, I recall that you were going to look into as far as when they terminate the $75. So you just want an update on that?
Yes, we're going to reduce that amount back down to, I believe it's 35, if I'm not mistaken. So what you'll see in the future is a $35 charge.
Thank you. Also, on the 6th floor where I live in Fox Hill, I throw the garbage out at night. They're not throwing the garbage out. They just leave it there, and it's not one bag. It's like 2 or 3 bags. I don't know what the situation is. I think we need to send notice out to the tenants.
We'll be glad to send that notice, and you know, it's sort of like Ms. Walker was saying, it's just people that our folks go through and clean twice a day, and then somebody comes at night and throws that trash. It's a constant fight. And I know it's hard to tell on somebody, but if we do know, we will keep it confidential. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Okay, so that's it, then motion to close public portion and to move to resolutions.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-1101, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve meeting minutes for October 9, 2025.
Motion.
Second. Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes,
Yes.
Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez, Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1102, resolution authorizing the payment of the monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns?
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you to the director and Emil for getting this. I know we had the conversation. I appreciate the hard work that went into separating these out. This looks good. We should take a closer look at it, another look at it at the Housing for Hoboken meeting next week. But this is exactly the format we were looking for, and I just wanted to say thank you.
We'd like to say thank you. So this is a work in progress. We'll keep getting better. Thank you.
So we got a motion and a second. That was all I
If
had.
there's no questions, no more questions or concerns, Director, please call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes,
Yes.
Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1103, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken approving the cash management plan, a cash management plan, I'm sorry.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns?
Again, I would just like to jump in here. I don't remember how we got started with this cash management plan, but it is something that's definitely required by the state of New Jersey. And I think it came out of discussion at the Finance Committee meeting. It really is just to put in writing what we can and can't do with our cash. And it's really just a restatement that will be in compliance with HUD regulations and New Jersey state regulations. It's clear who can move. It just puts everything in writing so there's no confusion. And again, it's required by the state of New Jersey. So I appreciate us getting this done and putting it in place.
And I hope you all note that you will be approving a version of this plan every year, scheduled to be at the meeting prior to the beginning of the fiscal year. So we're used to bringing the final budget at that meeting, so this will go along with a separate resolution at that September meeting every year.
And I think that's great because then it gets us to look at it to make sure we're continuing to stay in compliance with it. And as people change, then it's clear to everyone. So yes. So we got a motion? Or do
We have a motion.
We did.
Motion and second were made.
We're ready to call the vote, Director.
Thank you. David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes,
Yes.
Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
We're skipping this
We're starting. What are we doing? Oh, we're going to table.
We're going to table that.
I
We don't
would-
want to
one.
consider
Do
it.
it on.
I would have a motion to table it.
Okay, so motion to table resolution number 2025-1104, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken designating signatories with respect to PNC Bank.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes,
Yes.
Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1105, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to ratify the October 7, 2025 award of an emergency contract to rent scaffolding at 320 Jackson Street.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
Again, I don't need to keep jumping in on each one of these, but we did discuss this at length at the Capital Improvement and Redevelopment Committee last night. So I feel it's been looked at by three of your colleagues. And I am in support of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion and a second. Mark, can you call the vote?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes,
Yes.
Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1106, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to ratify the November 6, 2025 award of an emergency contract for brake anchors at 320 Jackson Street.
Motion. Second.
One other comment I'll make, which we will be doing based on last night's meeting. If you look at the next to last, be it further resolved, it says, be it further resolved that prior to the award of the contract for emergency services, the chief financial officer did certify that funds are available for this appropriation.
I'm sorry, the chief financial officer to certify?
Yes, sorry, I'll pull this closer. Yeah, I'm just reading from the motion. It says, be it further resolved that prior to the award of the contract for emergency services, the chief financial officer did certify that funds are available for this appropriation. That paragraph or something very close to it is in each of these requests for funds. And what we agreed at last night's meeting, just to help us in looking at the financials, is it will say the chief financial officer did certify that operating funds or capital funds or grant funds or whatever the source of the funds is will be listed there. So it's more information to provide greater clarity and greater transparency. It doesn't affect the rest of the resolution, but I just wanted to highlight that because as we get them going forward, that will be a change to this form of resolution.
We expect to have that in place at the next board meeting.
Right. So that's.
Is there a motion and a second?
So just to make sure, you're not asking to amend this resolution, you're
No.
just saying that going forward,
Yes.
that will be the,
Right.
yeah. So there is a motion and a second on
On the actual
2025-11.06.
Yes. There's no further comments? No? Director, call the vote?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes.
Yes.
Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1107, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to ratify the October 10, 2025 award of an emergency contract to repair a water main break at 411 Marshall.
Motion. Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? No questions, concerns. Director, could you please call the vote?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes.
Yes.
Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1108, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for 310 Jackson Street playground fence and ramp.
Motion.
Questions, concerns? Director, there's no questions, concerns, please call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes.
Yes.
Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-1109, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for boiler replacements at Andrew Jackson and Harrison Garden.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns? I think, Director, you actually spoke about this in your report.
I did, and I explained how this is really a push to get those secondary boilers installed. This is being funded, thank you, City, through the CDBG grants from the city. And again, you know, the city taking care of our residents, and we really appreciate that. Will make us sleep quite a bit better at night, so.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So, Director, can you just explain for everybody's knowledge, I know we went into a contract with a co-op, right? So could everybody explain, can you just do a little explanation on the co-op?
Sure.
How the co-ops, the benefits of the co-op?
Sure.
Why they choose this particular vendor versus others?
I'll be more than happy to.
Thank you.
First, just on the general bidding on this project, we also had another bid that we received on this that was significantly higher from a boiler installation and repair company that we've used before, and they were significantly higher. So that's one thing. But the next is the process on cooperatives. Okay? So HUD and New Jersey law states that we can, as a public entity, join what's known as a cooperative. So if an agency bids out the same work that we're asking for, right, according to HUD guidelines, so we take a look at that cooperative and we say this cooperative has bid out this work just like we would have bid it out, and they took bids and they said for this boiler, this is the winning bid for that boiler work, right? So now what we can do is rely on their bid, right? So that's how that works. So this work was fairly bid through a HUD-approved and New Jersey-approved process, and they are listed on that cooperative site. We, when we look at this, take a look at that cooperative, and we also take a look at any other cooperatives, and this was the best price from a company that we've used before and has done excellent work for us. So we're very comfortable in recommending that we move forward with this contract. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you. If there's no further questions or comments, Director, could you call the vote?
David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes,
Yes.
Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Motion to go into unfinished business or new business?
You don't need more, you can just proceed to the next
Okay,
agenda.
just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess now, guys, so that everybody's clear, we can now, if we had any questions for the director concerning his report, now would be the time to ask those questions. I personally want to say, Director, as far as the mayoral debate, I cannot be prouder of the work that we did to make sure that this finally happened in our ward and for our residents. And to be the debate that had the most attendees makes us very proud, and it just shows us that we need to be informed before we make these decisions on who's representing us in, you know, in a city level, in all levels, personally, I feel. But since it was the first time, I hope that this continues, because I think for a long time our residents have been left out of these things because they're either not close enough or near where our residents could attend. So I'm very proud of that, and thank you so much for making it happen.
And thank you. I think from the very inception of this concept, the idea was, how do we get our community informed on making a good choice? And how do we get that information? And the idea was, well, why don't we bring the debate here? Yay. And that was the seed. And then it went on from there. So again, I couldn't be prouder either, Barbara, and thank you for your leadership and Erica's. And my staff, Becky, and all the folks that made this happen.
I also wanted to speak on what you spoke about earlier about the resident who did send an email to us about 650, about the corner near 655. I want to say that today I witnessed it myself. We were having our produce distribution, and there was cars parked on both sides. And the fire truck, and it was the small truck, it wasn't even the big truck, it was the smaller truck. He was trying to turn, there was no way he could do it. He had to back all the way up to then go back the other way. So it's concerning, because if there's a fire, how are they going to get to our residents? So I think this is something that obviously we can't do nothing. I think it should definitely be a priority for the city, the parking authority, or the police, whoever can have those cars removed, they need to have those cars removed.
And quite possibly a redesign of that corner even.
Something
That
has
just
to be
doesn't
done.
work.
Because they're kind of even on the bush as you're turning. The way they're parking,
Yeah.
and I get it, there's no parking in Hoboken, so you can park your car wherever you can, but that's just a dangerous spot, because it does put our residents in danger of something happening.
I want you all to know that we take this very seriously, and we jumped right on it, and we will continue to work with the city on resolving this issue. So.
Thank you. I have a question, and it's because I had a resident come today. She is an elderly person. She cannot go down to the office. She did receive her lease. It was completed, but she can't walk all the way down to the manager's office. She asked if someone could pick it up from her, or could she just send it out, like have her daughter or somebody mail it out. I told her she could either have somebody mail it out, but that I would speak to you, and I can give you the information later on as far as to who the person is.
Sure. Well, if somebody goes and,
Yeah, she also has a disabled child that she can't leave alone, so it's kind of hard for her. But she said, I have everything. I said, just make sure you have everything, everything's signed, your proof of income is in there, and you can, you know, and I'll talk to the director to see what we can do.
I'll make sure we give her good service, even if we have to have the manager go up and sit in her living room and do it. I mean, why not? So anyway, yes, thank you. Give me that information, we'll take care of it.
Okay. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm the only one that's.
I have a question.
I have a question after you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
My question is, if we haven't received the package yet, who do we go to get it? I haven't received anything.
That's probably because your time is not up.
Yeah, but my time is not up.
Yeah, it's only when your time is up.
Okay, thank you. I forget that.
And I hope
Which
your
I'm
time's
glad.
not up.
Oh, There's a lot of conversations. She's not going nowhere yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand, what package?
Oh, the
The lease package.
The lease
from
package.
Randy. It's only
But I
when
saw
your
people
time is
going
up.
to the office and I'm like,
you're
what
fine.
is that they're doing over there? I wasn't aware. But thank you anyway, thank you.
Mark, I also saw that you put in your management report that Ms. Villafane had developed a trespassing initiative. Is there any way that we could look at it prior to our security meeting? I mean, the security committee members?
Of course, but that is one of the things that we're gonna talk about at the security committee, but yeah, we'll get a copy out. I think we just did some things today, right?
So,
Yeah.
just to give, and again, we can save most of this for the security committee meeting, which I talked to Yesenia that if she wants me to attend, if the authority wants me to attend, I'd be happy to, especially because of discussion with the police. There is an existing trespass and ban policy that's been on the books for 9 years. Essentially, this is potentially updating it, but mostly renewed enforcement. And making sure that we're still on the same page with the HPD, because that is covered by our MOU with the HPD. Just making sure everybody's on the same page in terms of enforcement and what we're going to do going forward with that.
Okay, perfect. And that also leads to the numerous complaints that we continue to get about the doors being popped and the kicking and pulling of the doors. This right here is why it's so important for us to meet with the police department. I am always the one that, when they're right, they're right. When it's wrong, you gotta call it out, right? You cannot tell me that walkthroughs are happening and this is continuously happening.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. If walkthroughs are happening, and officers are here, I'm not gonna say that they're not down here. They are down here. They're in their vehicles, they're driving in their vehicles, or they're in their cars. But if they were walking the beat and going into the buildings, I don't think that we would be getting these many complaints. And I'm just being honest, I'm a resident here. I remember living in 311 and that happening all the time. So I just feel like we need to really address this because it is hard. Like as Ms. Walker stated previously, there's somebody with seizures in the first floor. Is that fair that this is happening at all times of the night? And it's not just 540, we get them consistently from 560, 655. So it's that area that I believe needs to have more, maybe more walkthroughs in that area.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody have
I
any-
have.
Go ahead, I'm
So I
sorry.
just wanted to say, the trunk or treat was an amazing event, and I don't think we toot our own horns enough. And the incredible staff who came out, from the maintenance staff to Becky,
Management.
everybody here sitting behind me, the director came out and just tried to make it an incredible event for not only the Hoboken Housing Authority, but the entire Hoboken community and beyond, and anybody who wanted to join us. And that is the same thing for the Winter Wonderland, and I don't think that we, there's so much going on and there's so many things, and there are a lot of issues, and we want to hear the issues, but sometimes we don't take a pause to say, oh my goodness, look at the things that we're doing well. And of course, there are things that we are not doing well, and we want the feedback for both. So if there's maybe there's like a suggestion box or an email or some way that we can get from the residents when we hear incredible feedback. Maybe there was somebody was doing, you encountered somebody that day and you're like, oh, thank you so much for helping us. First things that when you come here to complain, if there is, you speak with your manager, but just a better way of like, or a continuous way of making sure that everybody is communicating and building upon the foundation. That's why you have these events, to build upon the foundation. And we cannot stress enough 100 times, if something you don't feel is right, if you feel somebody is doing something that is not correct, bring it to the attention. If you don't feel comfortable bringing to anybody's attention here, then go to the police, go to anybody that you feel is appropriate. It's very important to keep saying that over again. So thank you.
Thank you. And Director, one thing I didn't hear you speak much about, and I know that I've been a pain with this because I get the messages all day, every day, has been the issue with the elevator in 311 Harrison. As you explained earlier today, 310 Jackson is down due to the fire, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be down for a while till that's fixed. So what's happening is 311 Harrison is being used a lot more, with the residents from 310 having to use the other elevator. And I know in one day, we have had to call the tech about 6 times because it's stuck somewhere. And something that I have witnessed, and it's the children at times, they're holding the elevator doors, right? They're holding it, whether they're holding it for their friends or for somebody to come in. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Because then it gets stuck on a floor. And it's sad because to see the people, there's people that live on the 10th floor. My sister, for instance, lives on the 10th floor. It's hard for her. She can't walk up the stairs 10 flights. So I think, maybe sending a notice out to the residents to say, please make sure you're not holding the doors for anyone. Like, just be a little bit more patient. It's going to take a little bit more time than it usually does. But the last thing you want to do is have 2 elevators down in a 10th floor building. And and I joked with Mark and I said I could imagine the bill next month for our elevator services. But yeah, I mean, they have been having to come out every single day.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. It happened again today, and it's running again, by the way.
No, I know they messaged me before the meeting.
So we will continue to bring the mountains off as we need to get that elevator functioning, even if it's down for a while. Please understand it's out of our control at this point until that other elevator can get up and running. A lot of damage.
I just want to thank you because you guys have done an amazing job of making sure that it does keep running and that the residents don't have to walk up and down the stairs. So thank you for that. And thank you to the staff, Stanley and Jasenia, who I know is calling as well.
Got some questions.
Sure.
I just want to go back to some of the comments that I made earlier, just to reiterate. I thought I already said it, but seeing that there was questions about transparency of information, any changes to the bylaws of Housing for Hoboken or the management agreement will have to come to this committee for approval. So there will be transparency in terms of any of the changes to those 2 documents, which are the key foundational document and the key interaction document between our 2 organizations. Number 2, Director, you talked about 30 bathtubs being available at contingency, right? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Do we do the same for ovens, refrigerators, other appliances?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we do that for cabinets. We bid things out 1 weekend ahead of time, so we have a contractor we can call immediately and have them here. So, yeah, the bathtubs have kind of grown as an issue. In some ways, it's great because the roof's not an issue anymore, but the bathtubs are, and that's great, and we'll keep attacking them. But we found that we're doing enough of them and having to go into enough of them that it was best to bid them out ahead of time. I do not believe that the old spray can of enamel on a bathtub is worth the time and effort of actually doing it. And that's what we did on some of these way back 10, 15 years ago. It just doesn't last. So, yeah.
And then, if you could tell us what's the policy on replacing refrigerators and ovens? Because I know I've had one resident come to me complaining that they needed a refrigerator replaced, and it took months and months and months, and then they were charged for it, and they felt that the conduits, the housing authority should be paying for it. What is our policy on all of that?
So it goes along with our tenant damage policy. We do have our technician go and look at that piece of appliance. And if that technician feels that it was tenant-caused damage, then there will be a charge. If not, there won't be a charge. If it's just 30 years old and dead, there won't be a charge. Now, all residents at all times, if they are charged, they have the opportunity to challenge that. And their first opportunity is to go in and see your manager and say, what about this charge? I don't believe it's fair. And if they don't like that answer, they can come to me. But it is a function of our staff going in and taking a look and saying, this is a tenant-caused damage.
Okay. And then for you and for our attorney, could you just run through the timing again, because I lost you. What I heard was there's 350 units that need to go to court, that you hope to do 50 to 80 a month, and then I heard April. And I kind of lost somewhere in the transition there.
Sure, do you want me to
No,
take the lead on that?
All yours.
So the plan is, starting a week Monday, to file at least 40 every 2 weeks, every second Monday. So that's where the idea of, I think you said 80 to 100 a month, and that would be adjusted accordingly as we start getting actual court dates. If we find that we can accommodate more in that period, that's where that approximately 80 would go up, possibly to 100 or so. And to do that every 2 weeks until, at least with respect to the over 3 months, that's where the February, March, and then going to court hopefully by the end of April with all those came from. That's talking about the current over 3 months. Now, obviously, then the goal would be to get back, you know, pre-pandemic, it was once a month with whatever was, and usually it by the time somebody was actually put into court, it was about 2 to 3 months at that point. Because what happens is somebody will be late a month, and it's not really that month you can take them to court. You have to send a 30-day notice giving them 30 days to pay what's owed, or they will be taken to court. So really it's the cases after that, once we get back on a regular schedule, will be approximately 2, maybe 3 months late at that point. But the goal would be to get through this 200 person backlog. We're talking about the...
It's 357.
I'm going off of, and I don't know if it's here, but the number I was given by Yesenia is the 3 month plus, which is, she said approximately 200, I think a little bit over 200.
This just says over.
That's 1 month,
over
right,
3
correct,
months.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So that's, and I apologize, I think that's where the discrepancy comes in. So the idea is that that would take until approximately the middle of February, beginning of March to get all those filed, maybe by the end of April to have them scheduled for court dates. And then after that going forward, the plan would be to file probably once a month with everybody who's late that month.
Can we stick, okay, so hopefully February, all 200 are filed.
Yep.
Hopefully by April, all 200 have been to court.
Right.
And then those two, so they would have had their hearing that 200?
Hopefully by the end of April, the hearings will be scheduled, yes. So by the end of April, hopefully we would be able to sit down or have default judgment in some cases where people don't show up with everybody from the current backlog. And then the goal would be to continue doing it, but possibly slow down to once a month as opposed to every 2 weeks.
And the two of you talked, I think this is great. You talked about a monthly status report. Is there any way you can come up with whatever that status report, is that going to be part of this page? Is it going to be a separate page? Can you come up with whatever it is and present it to us at the at the December finance meeting, so we have a chance to look and to see, to understand just what the process, how you're doing?
The short answer is sure, absolutely. A little bit longer answer is what the director was referring to is essentially a centralized tracking system with all kinds of details that I'm not sure that the board would necessarily want nor in terms of personal details be appropriate. So certainly we can get together and come up with a condensed version of that we can share with the board.
Because it would be helpful to see how it's tracking and similar to what you have.
Of course.
And that will be part of my report monthly as
Great.
well, but it will come to the finance committee first to be reviewed and then to the board. Timing on that is everything,
Right.
On how that does and how many have gotten to court and all of that. But I would like to say that I love Matt's numbers and I hope he's right. Things happen. Sometimes, this person falls out, that does, you gotta go back again. So, Matt, February is great, so let's make it happen.
Right, that's the goal. And I will point out that in terms of actual court dates, based on the schedule I've been told by the court that I can rely on, in terms of people actually showing up in court, I don't think that dam's gonna break until right around the beginning of the year. So all the cases that will be filed between now and then, I don't expect them to be anybody to be in court on those until about the beginning of the year, but once that hits, we'll be doing court appearances and additional filings at the same time. It'll be up and running where everything's going at the same time.
And so residents understand, we don't want to evict anybody, right? We don't. And the way this process works is if you don't pay your rent, you may well get that notice. Now's the time to be serious and say, how am I going to pay my rent? And if you heard me say we're talking about maybe Matt coming to our offices once or twice a month to sit with people. And if an agreement can be reached, right, you owe us $600. And you come in and say, okay, I'm going to pay this back, $50 a month for 6 months, and we sign that agreement and it goes to the judge, and it's a court-ordered agreement, yay. We want you to stay, right? We want that to happen. Now understand, once the judge has made that agreement, you're not making that agreement with me. You're making that agreement with me and the judge, right? And once you don't live up to that agreement, the judge doesn't play, all right? So this is a way to say fair and move forward.
And just to add to that, that's one thing that I'll plead to both the board, anybody who would ask you, anybody that you can reach out to, and to the residents, anybody yourselves or your neighbors. The housing authority's willingness and ability to work with you will be much greater if a resident who is taken to court comes before or even on the day of court. Once somebody doesn't show up and there's a default judgment entered against them, the housing authority's ability and willingness will be decreased, because to have gotten to the point of a default judgment, that means somebody will have ignored the numerous attempts to sign an in-house agreement and the summons to show up in court. And at that point, a warrant would be requested based on a default judgment, and I don't know that the housing authority would be as eager to stop that. As opposed to if you show up ahead of time, I'm not going to guarantee it, but in most cases, the housing authority does want to work with residents and keep residents in their units. The goal here is not to evict anyone. The housing authority has to collect its money, so it's to try and balance those two priorities of doing what HUD requires to collect that money, to be able to operate for everybody else, and to keep you in your unit. So please, 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 if anybody asks you, if you have the opportunity to tell anyone, encourage them, no matter what the balance is, encourage them to come in and at least talk.
Thank you.
Madam Chair? Yes. I forgot. So much of part of the resident services, I think because we think they're part of the team, is Familyhood participates and really did a lot of the work for the trunk retreat. So we want to thank them as well.
Yes. Okay, so motion to close, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone.